Good morning everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the computer network subject unit 5, that is application layer. So today my topic is what is client server programming. So we have to discuss what is a client server programming. So a client server in a client server model, communications at a application layer is between two running application programs called process. So what is meant by client server programming? So we having the client server model. So communication at the application layer is between two running application programs called process, that is a client and a server. A client is a running program that initializes the communication by sending the request. A server is the another application program that waits for the request from the client. Okay, so that is called the client server programming. So the server handles the request. The server handles the request received from the client, prepares a result and sends the result back to the client. Okay, so this definition of the server implies that server must be running when a request from a client arrives, but the client needs to be run only when it is needed. Okay, so this is called a client server programming. So in this client server programming, this means if we have two computers, for example I have two computers that are connected with each other. Somewhere we can run a client process, on one of them, and the server on the other. One of them on the client process on one of them, and server on the other. So we need to careful that the server program is started before we start running the client program. Okay, so in this we having application programming interface. So what is meant by application programming interface? So a client process communicate with the server process. A client process communicate with the server process with the help of computer program, which is normally written in a computer language with a predefined set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. Okay, so what is meant by application programming interface? So the client process communicate with the server process. Client will be communicate with the server process with the help of the computer program. Okay, which is normally written in the computer language with a predefined set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. Okay, so a computer language has a set of instructions. For mathematical operations, a set of instructions for string manipulation, a set of instruction for input output access, and so on. Okay, so we need to process input to output. If we need to process to be if we need a process to be able to communicate with another process, we need a new set of instructions to tell the lowest 4 layers of TCP IP suite to open the connection, and send and receive data from the other end and close the connection. A set of instructions of this kind is normally referred to as an application programming interface. Okay, so this is called the application programming interface. So what they are saying, if one process need able to communicate with another process, we need a new set of instructions that tell the lowest layers of the TCP IP suite, open connection, and send and receive the data from other end, and close the connection. Set the instructions of what kind is normally referred to as an application programming interface. Okay, So this is the diagram. Already we have this is the diagram of the client server architecture. So here I having the files, and here I having the browser, and middle I having the web server. So this is the at the file side, this is the server side. At the browser, it is a client side. Okay, what the client will be, it will be provided the request, HTTP request to the web server in order to access the files from the server side. So the request will be moves from the web server, and web server sends to the request to the files at the server side. What the files will be do, it will be pre-created and sends the files to the web server, and it gives the response to the browser. It means client side. Okay, so this is the one communication of the diagram. Okay, so this is the client server architecture. So in this I having the application programming interface. I told that in this I having the diagram. So an interface in programming, an interface is nothing but it acts as a interface means two things will be, one need to communicate means we need one interface. Okay, so if two persons doesn't have any relationship, so in order to make that relationship, another person need to make the relationship between the two persons. So that means intermediate we can say. Okay, that like interface is a programming, is a set of in this we having the set of instructions between two entities. Okay, between two entities. So in this case, one of the entities is the process at the application layer, and the other is the operating system, and other is the operating system that encapsulates the first four layers of the TCP/IP protocol suite. So several application programming interface. So here I having the client side and server side. So what they are saying, in this case, one of the entities is process the application layer, and other is the operating system that encapsulates the first four layers. First four layers will be encapsulated in the TCP/IP protocol suite. So several application programming interface have been designed for communication. So several application programming interface has been designed for communication. One of the most common one is socket interface. See here I having the blue shaded color. That is a socket interface. So this is socket interface is a set of instructions. In this socket interface, what we having, set of instructions that provides communication between the application layer and the operating system. So in this diagram, see, so this is the socket and this is the socket interface. So what they are providing the socket interface having, what having the socket interface, we having set of instructions. Okay, so that provide the communication between the application layer and operating system as shown in this diagram. Okay, so in this diagram. Okay, so this is the operating system we are having, and this is the socket interface. Okay, these are the layers. It is a set of instructions. It is a set of instructions that can be used to process. It has a set of instructions that can be used to process to communicate with another processor. Okay, the idea of a socket allows us to use the set of all instructions already designed in a programming language for other sources and sinks. For example, most computer languages like C, C++, or Java, we have several instructions that have read and write data to other sources and sinks such as keyboard as a source and monitor as a sink, or a file source and sink. We can use the same instructions to read from or write to sockets. Okay, so next coming to socket. So what is mean by socket? So a socket is supposed to behave like a terminal or a file. It is not a physical entity like them. So it is an abstraction. It is an object that is created and used by the application program. So this is called the socket. In this socket, we are having the socket address. So what is mean by socket address? So a socket address should so the interaction between the client and the server. The interaction between client and the server is two-way communication. The interaction in the socket address, the interaction will be in the interaction between a client and the server is two-way communication. In two-way communication, we need a pair of addresses. So if you, whenever the interaction is occurred between the client and server in two-way communication, we need a pair of addresses, that is local for sender and remote for receiver. And the local address is the local address in one direction is the remote address in the other direction, and vice versa. Okay, so since the communication in the client and server model is between two sockets, we need a pair of sockets, pair of socket address for communication, a local socket address and the remote socket address. We need to define a socket address in terms of identifiers used in the TCP/IP protocol suite. Okay, a socket address should first define define the computer on which the client or a server is running. The socket address should be a combination of IP address, that is 32-bit, and the port number 16-bit. Okay, 32-bit and 16-bit. Okay, so a socket defines the endpoint. A socket defines the endpoint of the communication. We can say that socket is identified by the pair of sockets address, a local and a remote. So that is called the socket address. Next, coming to finding socket address. So how we are going to find the socket address? How we can a client and a server find a pair of socket address for communication? The situation is different for each site. So first one is in this we are having the server side. At the server side, the server needs a local server and the remote client socket address for communication. Okay, so in this server side, having the local socket address. So what is mean by local socket address? At the server side, a local server socket address is provided by the operating system. The operating system knows the IP address of the computer on which the server process is running. The port number of the server process needs to be assigned. If the server process is a standard one defined by the Internet Authority, a port number is already assigned to it. For example, the assigned port number for a hypertext transfer protocol (HTTP) is the integer 80, and which cannot be used for any other process. This is called the local socket address. Next, coming to remote socket address. So what is meant by remote socket address? A remote socket address for a server is a socket address of a client that makes the connection. The server can serve many clients. It does not know beforehand the remote socket address for communication. A server can find this socket address when a client tries to connect to the server. The client socket address, which is contained in the request packet sent to the server, becomes the remote socket address that is used for responding to the client. So this is called the remote socket address. Next, second one, in the remote socket address, this remote socket address and local socket address comes under the server side. Now I am talking about the client side. In this client side, we are also having the local socket address and remote socket address. So what is meant by client side? A client also needs to need a local client and remote server socket address for communication. So that is why we having the local socket address. A local client socket address is also provided by the operating system. The operating system knows the IP address of the computer on which the client is running. The port number is the 16-bit temporary integer that is assigned to a client process each time the process needs to start the communication. So next, coming to remote socket address. So what is meant by remote socket address? So finding the remote or server socket address for a client that needs more work. When a client processor and starts, it should know the socket address of the server it wants to connect to. Okay, this is called remote socket address. Next, these are comes under this local socket address, and remote socket address comes under the client side. Okay, so next, using the service of the transport layer. So a pair of process provides service to the user of the internet, human or programs. So a pair of process needs to use the service provided by the transport layer for communication, because there is no physical communication at the application layer. This is called using service for the transport layer. Next, coming to next topic is WW and HTTP. WW means World Wide Web, and HTTP. So what is mean by World Wide Web? So now I am going to discuss about the WW, World Wide Web. So the idea of the web was first proposed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. The web today is a repository of information in which the documents called web pages are distributed all over the world, and related documents are linked together. So the popularity and the growth of the web can be related to two terms in above statement: distributed and linked. So distribution allows the growth of the web. Each web server in the world can add a new web pages to the repository and announces it to all the internet users without overloading a few servers. So linking allows one web pages to refer the another web pages stored in another server somewhere else in the world. The linking of web pages was achieved using a concept called hypertext, so which was introduced many years before the advent of the internet. So the idea was to use the machine that automatically retrieved another document stored in the system. When a link to it appeared in the document, the web implemented this idea electrically to allow the linked document to be retrieved when the link was clicked by the user. So today the term hypertext coined to mean linked text document has been changed to hypermedia to show that a web pages can be a text document, an image, an audio file or video file. So this is the World Wide Web introduction. Having the architecture. So in this architecture, the WW today is a distributed client server service, which is which a client using a browser can access the service. Browser can access the service using the server. However, the service provided is distributed over many locations called sites. Each site holds one or more web pages. So each web page can contain some links to other web pages in the same or other site. So in other words, a web pages can be simple or composite. So a simple web pages has no links, has no links to other web pages. So a composite web pages has one or more links to other web pages. Each web page is a file with a name and address. So in this having the in this WW having the web client browser. So what is mean by client browser, server browser, uniform resource allocator and cookies? What is mean by web client browser? So we having the web client browser. This is the architecture. Okay, now only I discussed, and this is the architecture diagram of the architecture www. Here I having the client and site A and site B. I am sending the request to the site A, and site A will be responded to the site B. Okay, and here another request is moves to the site B, and site B also give the request to the site client B. Okay, so this is the working of this architecture of www. So middle of this links I'm using the request. Okay, so and web pages. Through that we are sending the request and response between each two devices. So this is the architecture of www, World Wide Web. Okay, next coming to a web client browser. So a variety of vendors offer a commercial browser that interpret and display web pages, and all of them use nearly the same architecture. Each browser usually consists of that parts of the pages and parts of a pages. Client, each browser usually consists of three parts: a controller, a protocol, and interpreters interpreters. So I have the diagram here. So this is before going to diagram, the controller receiver. The control receiver input from. So this the control receiver, the controller, the control receiver input from the keyboard to the browser keyboard that is keyboard or a mouse, and uses the client program to access the document. After the document has been accessed, the controller uses one of the interpreters to display the document on the other screen. Okay, next document on other screen. The client protocol can be one of the protocols described later, such as HTTP or FTP. The interpreter can be HTML, Java or JavaScript, depending on the page. Depending on the type of document. Some commercial browsers include Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator and Firefox. So next coming to web server. So the web pages is stored at the server. Each time a request arrives, each client each commercial browser includes Internet Explorer, Netscape and Navigator and Firefox. So in the web pages, now I am talking about the web server. The web server page is stored at the server. Each time a request arrives, corresponding document is sent to the client. To improve the efficiency, servers normally to store requested files in a cache in memory. In the memory is faster to access than a disk. So that is called the web server. Next coming uniform resource locator, URL. So what is mean by URL? So a web page of as a file needs to have unique identifier to distinguish it from other web pages. To define a web pages, we need three identifiers, that is host, port and path. So before defining the web pages, we need to find the browser that the client browser we need to tell the browser what client server application we want to use, which is called the protocol. And this means we need four identifiers to define the web pages. First is the type of the vehicle to be used to fetch the web pages. The last three markup the combinations that defines the destination object, that is web pages. So in this we having the protocol, host and port. What is meant by protocol? The first identifier is the abbreviation for the client server program that we need in the order to access the web pages. Second one is host. So the host identifier can be the IP address of the server of the unique of the unique name given by to the server. The IP address can be defined in dotted decimal notation. So third one is the port. The port is a 16-bit integer, is normally predefined for the client server applications. Next, coming to path. So what is the fourth one is a path. A path identifies the location and the name of the file in the underlying operating system. The format of this identifier normally depends on the operating system. So the to combine whenever we are going to combine these four pieces together, the uniform resource locator has been designed. It uses three different separators between the four pieces as shown in this diagram. Example, having the protocol is to host bar path, and most used for the time. Protocol is the /host is to 4. Protocol host / host hyphen colon port hyphen bar path. Okay. So next, coming to web document. What is mean by web document? So static document static document or fixed content documents that are required. Okay. That are required that are created and stored in the server. A client can get a copy of the document only. In other words, the content of the first are determined when the file is created, when it is used. So since the documents are prepared using one of several languages, that is hypertext HTTP, hypertext markup language HTML, and extensible markup language XML, extensible style language XSL, and extensible hypertext markup language XHTML. Okay. So having the client and server here, the client sending the request to the server, and server is responding in the static HTML document. Okay. Next example is the HTML. The hypertext markup language is a language for creating web pages. The term markup languages makes up from the other from the books publishing industries. Before a book is typical type test typeset and printed, a copy editor reads the manuscript and puts marks on it. So these marks tells the compositor how to inform the text. For example, if the copy editor wants part of a line to be printed by the server, boldface, he or she draws a wave line under the part. Let us clarity and ideal with the example. So to mark a part of the text display, it's a boldface with HTML. We get beginning and end of the boldface tags marks in the text as shown in this diagram. So having the here controller. So browser, I have the browser here, and in this browser I having the HTML, JavaScript, Java interpreters, and having the desktop computer, and the controller we have the HTTP, FTP, and Telnet and SMTP. So here between that we have the controller. Okay. we can access any file from the controller. That will be send the request to the controller, and the controller will be give and access the data from the different functions which is available in the controller. Okay. So these two tags, here having the tags we having. So this is the two tags. Two tags B and /B are introductions for the browser. When the browser see these two marks, it shows that the text must be boldface. So okay, so this is the protocol, and this is the host, and this is the port, and this is the path. Now only we have explained it in URL. Okay, next web document. So what is mean by web documents? Okay, so in this web document we have, I told that we having the two tags. Document www can be grouped into three border categories: static, dynamic, and interactive. The category is based on the time at which the content of the documents determined. And we having the static document. This we having some topics in the web document, that is static document, dynamic document, and active document. So what is mean by dynamic document? So now only I told that static document. In the static document we have the fixed content content documents that are created and stored in the server. The client get copy the document only when, other words, the connects the file to the determined when the files are created, not when it is used. That is called next static document are prepared using one of the several languages, that is HTML, XML, and XSL, and and XHTML. Okay, so this is the static and in this static having the diagram. This is the client and this is the server, and the client will send the request to the server, and it will be response in the HTML document. So in this having the HTML is a language for creating the web pages. The term markup languages comes from the book publishing industry. So before a book is typed or and printed, a copy editor reads the manuscript and puts a make on it. So this marks tells the compositor how to format the text. For example, a copy editor must have parts of the line to be printed in boldface. So she draws a wavy line, used this part. Let us clarify the idea with example. To make part of the text displayed in a bold face with HTML, he put beginning and ending beginning and ending bold face tags, that is marks in the text as shown in this diagram. So this is the diagram. This is the bold face. This is the bold tag, and this is the bold end bold, and this is the bold face tags. This is the text to be bold faced. Okay, and I having the I here. In this I having the less than I B. Okay, by bold face, and this is the text to be bold face. Sorry for disturbance ma. Bold, this is the bold tag, and this is the end bold. So between that I am using the bold, means I have used the only capital B here. In this I having the less than and greater than capital B, and this is the symbol. This is a bold tag, and if you take we are going to end the bold tag, we are going to use the slash. So this is the bold face tags. Okay, next coming to HTML. Now only we discussed. So this is the effects of the bold face. So the two tags here we are having, that is a B and /B, are instructions of the browser. So when the browser sees these two tags marks, it knows that the text must be bold faced. Okay, so this is the text to be bold faced, this like, and we are using the browser, and this is the text to be bold faced. Okay, so next coming to dynamic, beginning and end of the user. So here we are using the attribute values and attribute values at the beginning tag and tag name at the ending tag. Okay, Next, coming to dynamic document. A dynamic document is created by the web server whenever a browser requests the document request in the document document when the when a request arrives, the web server runs an application program or a script. The dynamic document, the server returns the result of the program or script as a response to the browser that requested the document, because the fresh document is created for each request. The content of the dynamic document may vary from one request to another. So, a very simple example of the dynamic document is the retrieval of the time and the data from the server. So, this is the client diagram dynamic document. So, this is the dynamic document which is using the CGI. So, here CGI means common gateway interface. So, this client will be send the request to the program. The program will be respond in the form of dynamical HTML document. So, this is the server, and here the common gateway interface is the technology that creates and handles the dynamic documents. CGI common gateway interface is a set of standard that defines how dynamic document is written, and how data are input to be programmed, and how the output results in is used. The term common in CGI indicates that the standard defines a set of rules that is common to by many languages, any languages or platform. The term gateway here that CGI programs can be used to access another resource such as database, graphical packages and so on. The term interface here means that there is a set of predefined term, variable cells and variable calls and so on, that can be used in any CGI program. So, the input, whatever the input from the browser to a server is sent by the using a form. So, if the information is a form of small such as a word, it can be appended to the URL after the question mark. For example, following the URL carrying from the information, okay, carrying the information, and here the input and the browser is too long for fit the query string. The browser can ask the server send a form. The information in the form can be used to input to the CGI program, and in this I having the output. Okay, so output, the whole idea of CGI common gateway interface is an executable CGI program at the server side, and send the output to the client browser. The client the output is usually plain text or text with the HTML structures. The output can be a variety of other things. It can be graphics or binary data, a status code, instructions to the browser to the catch the result, or instructions to be the server at the send and request document instead of the actual output. Okay, actual output. So, that is called the dynamic document. Next, coming to active document. So, this is the diagram of the dynamic document. I have in the client here, and this is the request, and this is server. So, here the request will be sent to the HTML document, dynamic document. Here run the scripts inside the HTML document. Okay, this is the another diagram of the dynamic document. Next, coming to active document. So, what is mean by active document? So, for many applications we need a program for a script to be run at the client side. These are called the active documents. Okay, and active documents. And for example, suppose we want to run a program that creates the animated graphics on the screen, or a program that integrates with the user. Example is Java applets. An applet is a program written in Java on the server. It is compiled and ready to be run. A document is a bytecode binary format. The client processes the browser clients and instance of this applet and runs it. A Java applet can be run by the browser in two ways. First method, the browser can directly request the Java. Another request the what creates the document. So what they are saying, it is compiled and ready to run. The document is a bytecode binary format. The client process browser creates an instance of the applet and runs it. A Java applet can be run by the browser in two ways. First method is the browser can directly request the Java applet program in the URL and receives the applet in binary form. The second method is the browser can retrieve and run a HTML file that has embedded the address of the applet as a tag. So how the Java applets are used in the first method. The second first method, that is the first method. The second is similar but needs two transactions. So this is the active dynamic, and this is the diagram of the active dynamic, which uses the JavaScript. This is the client. I am sending the request to the server, and server will be send the request as what they need, that is applet, run the applet to the result. So the example is the JavaScript. So the idea of the script is dynamic document that can be used for the active documents. If the active part of the document is small, it can be written in the scripting language, that it can be interpreted and run by the client at the server time. So the script is a source code, that is a text, and not in the binary form. The scripting language used in this case is usually JavaScript. The JavaScript, which bears a small resembles Java, reassembles the Java. It is very high high level scripting language developed by the purpose. It shows how JavaScript is used to create a active document. Okay, active document. And next, in the next class we will discuss about the HTTP, and we have some more topics regarding this HTTP. HTTP means hypertext transfer protocol. So in the next class we will discuss about the topic HTTP. In this we having the transaction, message, request and status. So everything will be required. So thank you. In the next class we will discuss the next topic. Thank you everyone.